And we welcome the viewers now on the agenda here on the SABC News Channel, rolling coverage as we look forward to the State of the Nation address tomorrow by President Cyril Ramaphosa. We see him there with the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces doing a site inspection, and our colleague watching all these events, Abra, Barbier, we're going to bring you in now. What has been happening so far?
Desiree, very good morning to you as well. Yes, welcome to Cape Town, welcome to City Hall, welcome to SONA 2022. As you've just seen, the President has just arrived. He is doing the final walkabout for the day, doing his final inspections. He and his team have just entered City Hall with the various presiding officers, and they will just be going around just to make sure that all the final touches are in place, that everything is ready for 7 o'clock tonight when he delivers his State of the Nation address to us. I think we're going to bring in the Acting Secretary to Parliament, Ms. Baby Tyawa. Ma'am, good morning. Thank you so much for speaking to us. You look beautiful.
Thank you so much.
How much of a logistical nightmare was it to prepare for SONA 2022?
Well, I think because we've gone through many years of pulling together this particular address, which is an event that is of the three arms of the state. At least in terms of the back end of work, I'm talking human resources. We had quite well-experienced team of people and an interdependent team. The biggest thing was to decide on the venue, make sure that that venue is actually accommodating the majority of the members of Parliament, but those who cannot, we have to give a message that they have to connect with hybrid. And the other advantage was that the hybrid model we've used throughout the COVID period. But I must just say it was quite tragic to see the National Assembly, an icon building of the country, an apex institution of democracy, having burnt like it did. So there was a little bit of trauma. There's still a little bit of trauma amongst us officials, but the honest thing was we must make sure that the State of Nation address happens, which is quite an apex point where the President comes and addresses the nation through what constitutes a constitutional democracy represented by Parliament.
I can definitely agree with you on the aspect of the trauma. I think for everybody working at Parliament, it was quite a shocking event for us all to experience. And I know you can't speak about politics, so I won't ask you about politics, but earlier this week there were questions about why SONA wasn't just held virtually instead of spending all this money, and the Speaker to the National Assembly explained that a political decision was taken to show resilience, to stand together, to show uniformity to the nation. So we understand that. But also from an administrative point of view, can you just explain that budget? Because of course Parliament has its own sound and vision in place. This was something that had to now be installed, so that would have been part of the big budget.
Yes, indeed, I must reiterate, a political decision was made. As often as you'd imagine, political decision is made. Administration has to formalize it. And because we always budget for SONA, yes, we had to increase our budget this year. We had budgeted at least just under 200,000. If you look at our budget over 5 years, it's consistently dropped because we've been very frugal in light of the economic situation of the country. So having had to relocate, invest in ICT infrastructure, get OB vans, get other resources into a city hall, which is quite virgin, if I were to say, was quite costly, but worth it. And I must tell you that as far as cost estimates are standing, we're standing at 1.9 million. In the next 3 days, where there's going to be a debate, the response to the President, we still are going to be here. We're going to be spending just under 2 million. So we're looking at about 4 million. But like I say, they are all cost estimates. Why? Indeed, exactly like you're saying, on the precinct, we have our studio, we have the whole infrastructure, we've got the whole branding, we've got all the facilities there. So we have had to relocate them there. But I must say, because it is the City Hall, it is a country's infrastructure. The City Hall, the City of Cape Town, the Mayor, we are not paying rent. We're not paying like if we were to secure a private site, like a private venue, where we would have had to pay for the rental. Let me give you an example. When we used to have the supper after SONA, we would spend close on 600,000 rands just for that supper at the ICC. And we cut that out. And now, at least the City Hall is a government, let me say a state building. All we had to do is make it look and feel like Parliament. And amongst other things, the whole place had to be declared, as in like the hall had to be declared a Parliament by the Executive Authority in terms of the joint rules of Parliament. So it's been a lot of work. And I must tell you that we've done the best we could not to exaggerate the budget. And when we looked at the trend, we're still within the reasonable amount of budgets that we could have allocated if it were to be any other event of Parliament. Thanks.
Ma'am, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a good day today.
Thank you so much.
That was the Acting Secretary to Parliament, Ms. Baby Tyawa, just explaining to us and outlining exactly why the budget stands at that 4 million rand that has been set aside, not just for today. Today we're looking at 1.9 million rand, but for the duration of the whole SONA process. 4 million rand has been set aside. She explains that that is a very frugal budget, but various factors had to be taken into account. Of course, we know that at Parliament the infrastructure is in place. So the infrastructure that Parliament didn't have here, that now obviously had to be budgeted for. So that is why the budget stands at 4 million rand. And yes, she again reiterates the tragedy of the fire. It's been a very traumatic experience for everybody working at Parliament. Those investigations are still underway. Certain parts of Parliament are still cordoned off. At this stage, we don't know when when reconstruction and rebuilding will take place. So for now, for the next few days, the City Hall, it has been declared an extension of Parliament. So all the normal rules that pertain to the National Assembly and the NCOP and just the parliamentary precinct in general, that will now also pertain to the City Hall. Obviously, the President is still inside. He's doing his walkabout, just doing final checks. When we spoke to Parliament yesterday, they did tell us that everything was set for today. So everything looks good at this stage. We're expecting the Naval Band to come and do their checks soon. I've been seeing a couple of dress rehearsals, the flyover rehearsals we've also seen earlier today. So all systems go, I guess I can say for now, Desiree. And of course, we will be here, myself and the rest of the team, we will be here throughout the day, speaking to political parties, getting their expectations. And then, of course, after the President's speech, we will be getting their reactions to what he said to the nation during his address.